different angle today because I got a new cable. If you're into K-pop or you know a thing about K-pop, you would have heard about the concept of fan calls. And if you haven't, we're going to talk through this together. You're going to get to learn about fan calls. I'm going to get to complain about fan calls I've been subjected to on TikTok when I'm scrolling and minding my own business, and I have to see something that makes me cringe really bad and wonder why that person thought it was okay to post that online. So if you're familiar with fan calls, chances are you have seen that one Vernon fan call that circulates every now and again. If you haven't seen that one Vernon fan call, consider yourself lucky. Every major comeback season, I will be scrolling on my TikTok For You page, or sometimes it's even on my Twitter, and I will be subjected to something I can only describe as secondhand embarrassment, need to hide in the comment section, still can see a little bit of the video because the comment section doesn't go all the way and you can still see that slither of the video. That's what it feels like. And I have such secondhand embarrassment, and I always end up wondering, why do fan calls exist? Why do we still humor this? But also sometimes I do get fan calls where I do get a laugh and I get a bit of a giggle. And sometimes they're okay. 90% of the time, the ones that are shared online, it makes me question why K-pop idols haven't quit their jobs. While researching for this video, I was surprised that I couldn't find many videos talking about and dissecting what fan calls are and how they came to be. All I found was cringe compilations. So today, we're going to go through fan calls, and don't worry, I'm not going to subject you to any of the fan calls I found while researching, or some of the ones that I find while I'm just minding my own business scrolling on my For You page. But if you want to look it up, there are unfortunately quite a lot of compilations on YouTube. So view at your own discretion. I will not be holding your hands in that comment section. So to understand fan calls, we have to go back to fan signs and talk about how they operate, because it is the online version of a fan sign. Mind-blowing, I know. To put a long story short, K-pop fan signs and fan calls are usually used as a promotional tool for K-pop comebacks. Comebacks are basically what they sound like. It's when a K-pop group or artist come back with a new album release, a new EP, or a new single. They both traditionally run under a lottery system. So you will buy one album and that will usually equate to one entry. You buy more albums, you get more entries. More entries, more likely to win. Fan signs will have those that win participate in offline events. These events usually contain a photo shoot opportunity where those that participate bring gifts for the idols where they get to dress up. You know those really cute photos you see of idols on Twitter and they're dressed up in the most random things, or they're holding random objects? It usually originates from these sort of events. The events will usually also have a one-on-one meet and greet with the idol or group. They usually last for about 90 seconds per idol. I could be wrong. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying. And you'll be able to have a one-on-one interaction with them and have a more personal relationship with the idol. A lot of K-pop does fall under parasocialism, and it thrives off it, and it makes so much money, and that's why fan signs and fan calls are so popular, because it feeds into this narrative and thus generates a lot of money to the companies. Now, fan calls are pretty much the same as fan signs, except it completely removes the offline in-person interaction to an online version where it's a video call, hence call in the name. Fan calls are the product of COVID. I know, sensitive topic for a lot of everyone. It's for everyone. It was a substitute for fan signs during COVID and during lockdown, so idols could still have that one-on-one interaction and companies could still milk parasocialism. Fan calls never have gone away, because post-COVID and people sharing their videos illegally online has resulted in a lot of global traction, and it's made the company so much money. Some fan calls also include a physical gift, which I think is really cool, and it's nice that that is something that does, and it's usually something like a personalized photo card or album that gets signed and then mailed out to the participant. And as a little bit of trivia, the first fan sign was held by MCND on March 15th, 2020, and they hosted a meet and call fan signing event. So there's a little piece of history for you. Now, if you're in the K-pop scene online and you've seen these fan calls and you've seen the cringy ones, chances are you have seen conversations talking about, hey, this isn't great. This actually is really exploitive. This isn't a vibe. We actually don't want this to be a thing. Why are you doing this? Why are we exploiting the idols? Why are you putting them in uncomfortable situations? Due to the wide reach of K-pop fan calls and the global traction and how much more popular they've gotten, there's been some videos. They usually involve inappropriate requests, flirting, sexual innuendos, general awkwardness, but just overall very unpleasant. And you watch these fan calls, you question why the person thought it was a good idea to share it, because technically you're not allowed to share it. We'll get into that. But then you also wonder, oh my god, how many of these interactions has this idol dealt with within this one day? So to get into why I keep saying illegally or not allowed with fan calls, they're not allowed to be recorded. I don't know if everyone knows this or if it's just commonly ignored. Hell, if it was me, I would probably ignore it too. Actually, but that being said, I will never do a fan call. You could not pay me to have a fan call. I couldn't do it. I'm too awkward of a person. But yeah, you're not supposed to record them. But people find a way. They either record it with a secondary device, which hilarious, love that, or they record it internally, which I'm very curious how that's done, because with the app that they use for fan calls, usually it like detects screen recording, I believe, and you can't record it. I'm not sure, but yeah, you're not supposed to record them. That's why it makes it so fascinating when you see the ones where it's so secondhand and embarrassment inducing, and you're just like, you weren't even supposed to record this to begin with, and you're sharing it online. With how fan signs work and with how fan calls work, it usually, like I mentioned before, it will coincide with a comeback. But within the comeback, there's multiple fan calls, sessions, competitions ran by specific companies that are selling the albums, and it's usually to build album sales, to win more awards, and to get more streams, etc., and to make more money. Obviously, bottom line, money. But there is so many, you know, these idols they're clocking in for work when they do these fan calls. They are working their butts off, because I feel like they're there for hours, just in different calls, getting harassed in a way a good chunk of the time. I'm sure a lot of them are lovely, and I'm sure a lot of them are nice, but a lot of them are, I personally believe, since the idols are clocking in for work, it falls under the same category as hospitality and retail workers. So hospitality, retail workers, and K-pop idols should all be allowed to clap back at least a minimum of 3 times per shift. You know, they should be able to just put someone in their place, because just some of the stuff, man, that people say, and then the idols just have to, what? No! So in addition, with K-pop fan calls being so frequent, they're really expensive, because they're lottery based, right? So you'll have people that spend thousands. They spend thousands of dollars. When I was researching this, they spend so much money, man, on these fan calls, and then it reaches a point where the idol will know them by name. Huh? Why does Johnny from NCT know you by name? No. Why does Felix from Stray Kids know you by name? Why is the weird ones usually with the boys? Y'all are weird. And if you feel targeted by me saying y'all are weird, I fear you do fall under the category of weird. Now, you have people that are spending thousands, but then you also have group order managers, which slay, love it. So what group order managers usually do is they will bulk buy items from Korea and have them shipped. The reason why group order managers exist is to negate shipping costs, because shipping from Korea to overseas is so expensive. If you're in the US, I don't want to hear any of y'all complaining about album prices. y'all can walk into a Target and get K-pop albums. So I want to hear none of it. They're not expensive for you guys. They're expensive literally basically everywhere else. I digress. So you'll have K-pop fan group managers buying all the albums in bulk and distributing to people that buy through them. And then they'll usually have all of the entries into the said fan call. So it gives them more entries because there's more purchases and more albums, more entries, yada yada. But then there are some group order managers that take advantage of people's kindness and trustworthiness. I don't know what the word is off the top of my head. We're leaving this in. This is staying in the final cut. But then they will take advantage of that and never give people what they buy. I am in quite a few Facebook groups for buy, swap, and sell, and just group orders for K-pop on Facebook. Good place to start with, by the way. Instagram's kind of dead now for it, but Facebook has it on lock. The amount of buy at your own risk, deal with your own risk posts of people just taking advantage of people's trustworthiness and trustingness. I'm sorry. Either way, it's crazy. So some people do suck, but that is something that gets brought up a lot. I've seen when discussing fan calls, because you do have the same people win at all the same time. And a lot of netizens believe that a lot of fan calls are rigged. You know, I'm gonna say it. I believe it. I believe to some extent fan calls are rigged, because why are you on a first name basis with specific idols? Why do they know you? I've spoken a lot of negative things about K-pop fan calls. I want to talk about some good things, because they're not bad. Not all of them are bad. Some of them are good. Some of them are really good. My favorite one that comes to mind, I've got a few, but my favorite ones that come to mind is one. I can't remember their app. I'll try and insert a video of it if I can find it. But it's this person dressing up in an inflatable, I believe it was a dinosaur off the top of my head, and singing Super Lady to members of Idol. And the giggle, the pure joy it brought me, truly. I love watching idols be able to have a relaxing interaction in a fan call when it's shared online. The unfortunate, overall thing is that there will constantly always be conversations surrounding whether or not fan calls should continue. And the matter of the fact is they are here to stay. Post-COVID, they are here to stay. Why? Because money. So I believe companies should implement restrictions and regulations and rules around fan calls. They won't, because it's too much work, and at the moment it's too much money. But as I mentioned before, idols should be able to clap back a few times, or just let them exit the interaction. Let them hang up. They should be allowed to hang up when they are uncomfortable. Crazy concept, I know, but they should be able to leave the interaction if they do not want to be in that interaction anymore because the person is making them uncomfortable. Also, this one is controversial. I believe that those that are the recipients of fan calls should be over the age of 16. In some cases 18, but 16 is the low minimum, because some of y'all be saying shit that you shouldn't be saying. God damn it, most social media sites have an age limit of when you can start using social media, so it should apply to fan calls. In conclusion, I'm still surprised that no one's done a video on this yet and haven't spoken about fan calls and how outlandish some of them are, because some of y'all be doing weird shit. Some of y'all are weird. Some of y'all are so deep in the parasocialism quicksand. Please claw your way out. Gain other hobbies. Do other things. Spend money elsewhere. Spend some money on some hobbies. Pick up a hobby. I heard crocheting was cool. I kind of want to start crocheting. I believe idols should be able to have more regulations put in place to protect them from people being weird. That is the moral of this video, and the reason why I wanted to make it, because come back seasons, I'm scrolling and I'm gonna see some weird shit, and you're probably gonna see some weird shit if you are in the K-pop sphere of the internet. So if you do, or if you have any that you really find funny, only funny, not mocking, amusing fan calls, please leave them in the comments. I would love to be able to scroll through them and have a laugh. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please check out my other videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.